Okay, hi everybody. I am so excited to be here right now. Um, this chapter is really hit with me as far as becoming aware of, oh, good grief, how many things we do wrong. Good grief. However, I want to focus on a lot of the things that we are doing right as well. Okay. And focus more on that. And as long as we are aware, then we, progress on, right? Okay. So chapter 11 is talking about acting in a certain way. And I had a lot of pops almost every time that I've gone through this chapter. In fact, doing this chapter again has solidified it for me that there ain't no way in holy heck that I am going to put out my course yet. Let's just leave it at that. Okay. Yeah, I've done a lot of growing and I want to use that, make it better. And I think I can do that. So anyway, okay. First of all, we cannot start anything without first having a thought. This is just how I'm perceiving this chapter, okay? Whether I'm right or wrong, that's just a matter of perception, okay? Because we are entitled to that. Anyway, we must first have a thought before we can do anything. It is a process, okay? And if we cannot be clear, doesn't mean it has to be picture perfect, clear, right down to every single detail, perfect today. That's not what I mean. But we've got to have a starting point. So we got to have that starting point. We can fine tune from there. That's all a part of the process of growing as well. Okay, it's all growing. So, okay, that threw me a little off. I'll have to change that setting. Sorry. Okay. So anyway, we want to write it down. We want to get this visual into our head. Okay. We've got, and I want everybody to do this. In fact, you can do it or not, but this is going to be an assignment because this part, even though I haven't shared with everybody, this part has helped me so much in just trying to get better at where I am lacking. Does that make sense? I don't know. Does that make sense to anybody? Am I kind of stumbling here? I'm sorry. I'm nervous.
Makes sense.
Okay. I am a little bit nervous and I apologize. And I've had the last 2 weeks from holy heck, but I'm here. I'm excited and I don't want to waste your time. So I'm just gonna continue. That's okay. All right. So I watch Abraham Hicks a lot. Robert, of course. Is there somebody that could be muted, maybe? I don't know if that's where that noise is coming from, but it's very distracting. And it looks like everybody's muted. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. All right. All right. Once we get some sort of a visual, we need to start with that thought, okay? Once we get this all on paper, it like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect, but we have to have that starting point, right? It doesn't need to be perfect, but we want to go there mentally. We want to go there often. And if it takes just quieting yourself from all the commotions of the day, just go into the bathroom, for 5 minutes and just, quiet your mind, quiet yourself and just, kind of imagine doing this. I want you guys to do this. I want you to imagine it. I want you to try to put it into words on paper and feel it. Imagine make it your perfect day, as Robert says, or, what is it that you really want? What is it that you want? Robert always says he can help us achieve whatever goal we want. We just got to know what we want. And most of us do not. Who is there anybody here that raise your hand if you feel like that ever? Like you're just in that vicious circle. You know what I mean? You feel like you're doing the right things all of the time, but we're not. I see it in myself mostly. I see it in others. And so now, if we are here to truly help each other, and I want to know how you feel about this, should we be attentive to our peers' needs as well? They say, keep within yourself, don't pay no never mind. It's, do you know what I'm saying? But yet, if you see something, but then again, who am I to be critical? Do you know what I mean? So where do you draw that line, and where do you differentiate? Am I doing things in that certain way? Katie, go ahead.
Hey guys. So when you mentioned just now being there for our peers, I have learned mostly probably in the last 3 weeks. I've had a couple of hard hits from people who have been super close to me since 7th grade. And I'm grateful for their things, letting them just fall right out of their mouth and say whatever, because then it's allowed me to, it strengthens my belief in what I'm doing. It kind of like gives me another layer of armor for all the future people who will probably do that. And then it just helps me probably even get more motivated. So when it comes to peers, I have to make sure, be very intentional that I set boundaries of how far of my peers I will let get to me. And I've noticed a couple of times I haven't answered the phone when people have called because I've been busy. So I don't know if that's in alignment with maybe anything that you were feeling, but with our peers.
Oh, no. Yes and no. I didn't mean that for anybody on here. Not at all. I mean that as a whole. And I got to tell you, this is not my first rodeo. Yeah. But anywho, I have had to learn things the hard way. And if something can be slapped right back in your face, it's going to be, and it has. And that's just the way my boat has floated. I intend to change that. Do you know what I mean? But I have come up against every single situation. I feel that's how I feel. I'm sure I'm being a drama queen there, but in my world, that's how I feel. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I did not mean that to focalize on our group. Had all I I adore this group. I love what we are doing. I love what we are doing. The accountability, Melody. I mean, the input, Nicholas, Katie, that was brilliant. I mean, it was brilliant. And I want us to share ideas like that. You know, I want us to share our thoughts like that. Nicholas.
Hey Lisa, I'm not sure if this is exactly what you meant, but there were some things two things that I wanted to share about what you were talking about. You talked about, doing the right thing, and I feel like the way to measure if we're doing the right thing is, the results that we get, the statistics. However, there's another aspect to it as well, because we can, just because we don't get the results that we want, it doesn't mean that we're not doing the right things every day. It might be that we're doing the right things, but we do too little of it. We might need to do more of it. So I just felt like I wanted to share that side of it.
Thank you, Nicholas. No, that's a great point. And see, there again, there are two separate, somewhat different perceptions, right? So we need to always keep that in mind. So many things could be avoided if we could first think of that. Do you know what I mean? That's very difficult. I want to continue. Melody, go ahead.
Well, I don't want to interrupt you here. I don't want to interrupt your thought, but when you started this, it was a little vague on where you were going. And I think that's why Katie kind of perceived it one way, and then, and shared that. And it's true, Katie, and everyone, there are going to be people in our life that they don't want us to become better. They don't want to be left behind. You know what I mean? That saying, misery loves company. I'm not saying that these people are miserable in their own life. They're just not aware. They're not, they don't have they have a fixed mindset, not a growth mindset. So when they see us changing in our attitudes, in our gratitude, in our, the choices that we're making, the actions that we're taking, they're going, whoa, 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 where do I fit into this? And that's why they come at us with that negative connotation of it not being supportive, even though they might love us, so much to be friends that long, yet they don't want to be left behind. I don't see this as part of this chapter so much as I do in taking action. I mean, it doesn't matter how positive we are, how much we're thinking and we're visualizing and we're, having that growth mindset and thinking about the life that we want to live. This chapter spoke so strongly in, it doesn't matter how much you think positive and how much you're growing. If we do not take action, if we do not put something into action, we will never see that success. It says it several times. And that's the thing, every time something is repeated, I've learned this with Robert, I've learned this so much, and just following Robert, and even in his trainings, there are so many times that I talk to somebody, go, oh, I didn't see on Robert's call. Oh, well, I've heard that before. Like, what? Everything that is repeated for a reason. And the same goes within this book or any of the other personal growth books that you guys are reading. The Bible repeats things over and over and over. And these are the things that we want to hold on to, pay attention to, you know, hear that bell, ding, 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 ding. I've heard this before, you know, and to make a point of remembering it and putting that into action. So as far as people, you know, we need to realize we need to look at how are we treating them different? Is that why they're being negative too? Because it might just be maybe they feel like they're being left out, or we don't have time for them. And
that's all perception too. How you are perceiving it. And that's a frustrating part of it. Very frustrating. I am going to continue because that is exactly where I was kind of going with this. Maybe not in the correct way, but in my opinion, if we are not in a receiving mode, then are we able to receive? So what do I mean by that? If we are not currently in our present place, and by that, I mean doing the best that we can do with the ability that we have every single day. Doesn't matter if it's in work or play or home or whatever environment, whatever situation you are in, it makes absolutely no difference. We need that balance in every area of our life, and we need to work each of those to the best of our ability every single day. That means being in your present place. Does that make sense? In your present place, being the best that you can be, you know, to your ability, regardless of the situation. It doesn't matter if let's just say you're Johnny, you're a hard worker, you know, you support your family, you work, you know, 60 to 70 hours a week, right? You come home, gosh darn it, you're tired. You know, you plop on the couch, you know, you don't want to be bothered again. And you got the kids jumping on you, and you got the wife going and supper cooking and just everything going on. And it's like, are you living in your present situation to the best of your ability in this area as well? That's what I mean by balance in every area of our life. So we can't be fabulous at one thing and not so fabulous at another thing. We just got to have full balance in our life. Doesn't mean we have to be good at every single one of those, but if we can find one that we are passionate about, or one that really gets us going, then focus on that, because it is a positive. Oh, Katie?
So I have a really quick question. On page 54, it talks, if you act in the present with your mind on the future, your action will be with a divided mind. So for me, there's certain aspects of, you know, doing this business in a certain way. But when I find my mind wandering to the future or wandering to a different task or whatever, what's a couple of tricks maybe you guys could share on getting your mind to come back to present, so my efforts aren't divided, right?
Okay, I kind of got off tuned with you just for a second there because I was looking for the page, and that's in a different chapter. So which book are you referring to?
Aren't we doing acting in a certain way?
Chapter 11? Is that what we're doing?
Am I on the wrong chapter?
No, that's the chapter that I thought, chapter 11.
Right, me too. Okay.
Acting in a certain way. And if you think about the title and the words that are in it, acting, that takes action.
Right.
So to answer your question, Katie, you know, okay. Let me flip on my camera here, because so I
Are we-
can see you.
Katie, are you and I on the same chapter? I'm not sure.
Chapter 11.
Yeah, that's where I am. What page did you say? 59?
54.
Yeah, in my chapter 11's on page 39.
Oh, weird. Maybe I have a different version.
Yeah, we do. There we go.
That's okay. But anyways, so I get, my question is overall, based on staying in action, the book talks about if your mind isn't in the present action that you're working on, your efforts will be divided. So what's a quick trick to stay in the present, I guess? Because, we always are spinning all the plates mentally with all the different tasks and all the different things. So if anybody has a trick, that'd be awesome.
I think Melody wanted to answer this, didn't you?
Oh, that was your way to pass it to me. That was fun. Okay, so no, it's okay. So you know how we're always talking about visualizing what it is that we want for our life, where we want to go. That's where we go with our visualization. As far as taking action, we need to be in the present. Thinking about the past or past mistakes or failures or whatever those things are, doesn't matter if it was 10 years ago or yesterday, that we can't be beating ourselves up for those things. We just need to find lessons and move on. And what this is talking about is being in the present, taking action for present day. We need to take those actions now. And then, how people daydream? That's when we do our visualization. That's where we go to our happy place, is what I call it. And hold those thoughts to keep those actions more motivated, to be more motivated to do those things. Because if we don't have the motivation, we're not going to be doing those things. And as far as the certain way, thinking about the things that are going to give you different results.
Mm-hmm.
Does that help? Okay. Boop. Awesome.
Thank you, Melody. You're amazing. I'm so glad that you're here with us. You're such amazing support system, and thank you from the bottom of my heart. So that's, yeah, she just wrapped it up in that tiny little bowl for me, but you know what? This stuff works. If we listen, and it works because I have felt it working, and I have felt it when it has stopped working. Okay. Basically, we cannot take anything from anyone and not give them the same amount of value in return. We cannot grow by charities. We can't take charities and grow from that. Do you know what I mean? We have to work hard. We have to work for this. Nobody said it was easy. It is somewhat different, but it's, I notice this so much more in myself. We are such creatures of habit. It drives me bonkers. Because I can see it, and it's like, oh my gosh, I just did it again. Good grief. What, what I'm saying? I mean, creatures of habit. And that's all it is changing that habit, changing changing our paradigm. The thing that was drilled into us when we were babies. We did not have a choice then. We do now. Now we do. And that fires me up. So go ahead, Melody.
Well, okay, so this is why I put together the 30-day accountability. It's about changing those habits, having success habits, having the habits of people who have success before us. What are those habits? Whatever Robert said that he did, that's what I did. I didn't say, oh, I'll do this, this, and this. I learned by then. That doesn't work. Everything, that's why I still do everything within the morning ritual every single day. You guys are messaging me early in the morning. Yes, I'm up. I'm not looking for messages yet. I have not completed my morning ritual. Will it kill me or my business if I decide, well, today I'm not going to do affirmations, or today I'm not going to read the God memorandum? It won't, and it will hurt my day. I can guarantee you that. Things will happen that will knock me off the track that I intentionally set for myself the previous evening, right? And I want to be the best I can be, so I continue to do all of these things. Success habits, not just saying, okay, well, I'm going to make a new habit. It takes about 28 days to create a habit. Daily consistent actions, daily for 28 days, every day, not every other day or once a week or 3 times a week. Daily consistent actions to create a success, to create a habit, good or bad. And if you can get past that 28 days, which this is where it gets hard, ladies and gentlemen. Many of us won't commit 28 days, 30 days. We won't commit 100%. And that's why people are failing. That's why people don't see the results they're looking for. Oh, well, I had a bad day, or, you know, whatever, this happened and I didn't do this. We need to make that commitment. And that's why whenever somebody comes to the 30-day accountability, if I'm going to make a commitment to somebody, I specifically ask them, are you willing to make a commitment to create some success habits and replace some of those bad habits? Every single person tells me yes. You know what percentage of the people that actually are telling me the truth? Not a lot. Not a lot. People will say what you want to hear just so you can get whatever help from them, or because they want you in their circle. The thing that's the hardest part is making that commitment and sticking to it for yourself to be able to create those changes. I know Nicholas is, you know, I want to give him a trophy that says King of Consistency, because, and that's why he's seeing the results. He knows what happens when he stops. He knows what happens when he gets a little lazy. He doesn't see the results as much. And then when that happens, and I've had so many people tell me, look, Melody, you said 28 days, 30 days to create success habits, and I don't have them. Well, you haven't committed to doing them for all of those days. You haven't set that in, had the thought, set that intention, made the commitment, and took the action. That's why the results aren't there. And with anything you want to do, you need to make that commitment and do those daily actions to get closer to whatever it is you're looking to achieve. Because if we don't do that, and so many people go, oh, I read the book. No, you need to practice the book. We need to understand the book. We need to live the book. It needs to be meshed into our lives, in our actions. So I hope that helps somebody.
Absolutely. You're amazing. Yeah, it is our actions. Does anybody else have anything? I do want to refer back to the book on one part, though, because I think this part is critical. Excuse me 1 second. I feel halfway normal today for a change, so that's okay. This one part, it says, under the impelling power of the Supreme Spirit, Men's affairs will be so ordered that someone will be led to mine the gold for you. Other men's business transactions will be so directed that the gold will be brought toward you, and you must so arrange your business affairs that you may be able to receive it when it comes to you. Your thought makes all things, animate and inanimate, work to bring you what you want. But your personal activity must be such that you can rightly receive what you want when it reaches you. You are not to take it as charity nor to steal it. You must give every man more in use value than he gives you in cash value. Does anybody else have anything that they want to add to this chapter? Any pops?
Lisa,
Yeah.
Lisa, just with what you said there, this is why edification and promotion was so important for me to give back to Robert. Robert had taught me so many things. Now, he taught them to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of people did them, took the action. So make a note of that. And then because of the results, I felt I needed to give him more in use value. And how would I do that? By making him proud, by promoting him, by edifying him every chance I got. Animate and inanimate, Nicholas, is whether you can hold it, see it, or not. Make sense? Okay, so so this is why edification and promotion is a big part of what Robert teaches, and why I promote him so much, even to this day. A lot of people are going, well, what are you promoting? I'm promoting what an amazing mentor he is. He's still a mentor to many people, only if they reach out to him.
Mm-hmm.
And they get that personal from him. Otherwise, they can be, you can have a mentor, Esther Hicks, Abraham Hicks, and never speak to them.
Right.
And because you're learning from them, right?
That's why
So,
we're so blessed.
right. So
blessed.
giving more in use value. I want to give Robert more in use value than any of the income that I've gained from him, or any of the knowledge that's been able to grow, hundreds, over 500 people just in the 30-day accountability. That doesn't even count the 6-figure mastery. That doesn't count the Beyond the Secret. That doesn't count even the private coaching. I want to give him back more than what I'm getting from what he shared with me. That's where edification, that's where the certain way comes into play. Oh, a little Dr. Seuss moment there. You guys get that? A lot of times we think we need to give in dollars instead of action or edifying or promoting. That's why a lot of people don't do anything, because they go, well, I can't afford to give. I can't afford, I don't have anything to offer. Yes, you do. And it's already within you. Yes, you do. Anything that you learn that enhances or enriches our lives, we share that with others. That's what you get. And when you continue to do that, then eventually the dollars start showing up, and you can give that in a certain way too.
Nicholas, go ahead. Melody, you are amazing. I'm so sorry we had a couple leave early. They really missed some golden nuggets there. You are amazing. Nicholas, go ahead.
Hey, everyone. I want to ask a question about a problem that I had when I started Melody's course. And you know this, Melody. I had a problem with feeling, embarrassed, frustrated when I didn't reach the numbers that were in your course. And you told me because I've had that for a while, and just how do I say this in English? After a while, you told me don't focus on the numbers, just do your best and go the extra mile. Now I'm having the same problems again and this is with, the ascending group, I believe it's called. So if I know that I've done my best, I really gone the extra mile, I couldn't have done more. And for some reason, I still compare myself to other people in the group and I feel frustrated. So how can I work on that again?
Well, Nicholas, you have to realize we're all at a different place in our journey, within our growth journey, as far as creating the success habits. And the only person you're competing with is the man you see in the mirror. That's it, right? It doesn't matter. And I love the ascenders group. I love that for the accountability. Some people do great with it. Sometimes, Nicholas, you've been in the group in the past when we've had, 40 people in there, and some people get discouraged by seeing the numbers from somebody else when they compare their own numbers, and they're going, gosh, how come they get all the people? How come they, get all the results? And some people use it to motivate them. So if we focus on that gratitude and just that gratitude of knowing, hey, they've done this, and truthfully, just genuinely be happy for them, rooting for them, going, wow, that's amazing. We're not going, and then kind of set the bar for yourself. We're all going to be different at different times. You had a different day than Lisa. Lisa's had different hours than Katie. Deb's had different things than, all of us. So, it's not about comparing, it's about rooting. And here's the thing, when you don't know if you're doing things in that certain way, the way to check that is, there's a couple of things. One, measurable results. Two is, if we do everything with the mentality of servanthood, I think I put that in the chat earlier. I know I thought it anyway. In serving others, that's going to keep you in that certain way. Gratitude, servanthood, that's what is going to keep you in that certain way. And for some of us, it's a little more difficult than others. So, again, it's success habits that we're creating. And as we get gooder and gooder at those success habits, we will fall more into that groove. We'll create that groove for ourselves for that certain way. And as long as we stay in that and keep moving forward, working on today, dreaming, visualizing the future, and treating everybody as if we are here to serve them, sharing the knowledge that the wisdom that we've been able to learn from successors prior to us, that you can't not be in the certain way. So, Nicholas, change the view of what you're doing instead of going, oh, so-and-so got this number and I only did this. I used to think that I was doing more than anybody. I was doing a lot more of the wrong things. We need to check to see what we are doing. Are we doing those money-making activities? Are we spending 85% of our time in Messenger asking that $1 million question? I know a lot of people that just skip. And that's why I asked you this morning, Lisa, are you using the whole $1 million question? Well, with that one person, because I know that you are. Sometimes we would just skip to the last question, who do you know?
I was actually impressed with myself because this was an in-person meeting, probably my first one since COVID. You know what I mean? And I did follow that. I did. That's a good thing. That is a good thing. Now, see, I may not.
That's, pat yourself on the back.
Yeah, no.
My arm's not long enough. I'd be patting you on the back. That's the thing is sometimes we fall out of doing things that are duplicatable, doing things that work.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Because we're not doing on a daily consistent basis.
Absolutely.
So we forget and then we wind up skipping something. And then, we think we're doing what we should be doing and we're not really taking the right actions because we stepped away, we got lackadaisy and we skipped steps.
You made a perfect point right there. And we have our values that we live by. Everybody does for the most part. And I think if you go through that process where you are covering how you are protecting your own morals, your values, I think there is no possible way that you can go wrong. Do you know what I mean?
Well, here's my perception. It's a little different than yours, Lisa, is I don't feel like I need to protect my morals or my values. I share my morals and values. I support others with theirs. I don't need to push mine onto them.
No, that's not what I mean. I just, no. I didn't mean push it on anybody.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I don't have that mentality that I need to defend my thoughts, what my beliefs. I just don't. I am who I am, and I have the thoughts, the beliefs, the morals, the moral compass that I have, and I use that for my own gauge, for the own my bar in my life. And as far as everybody else, I find that I attract more people that have the same morals, the same values, the same, and I don't need to, I just accept people from where they're at. Let's just,
I think that I do, but I don't attract that at all. Not at all.
It takes more practice. It really does. And it really is the way we posture ourselves. See, if I touched a stove and I burned my hand on that hot stove, I would not want to touch the stove again. When people have burned us, we tend to be more reserved and not as open when it comes to people. So in the back of our mind, we still have a fear. And that fear is going to keep us from being completely open to people because people hurt us or that stove burned us, right? So it's like we can't connect with people with a clean slate because I would tend to prejudge people always. And that bit me in the butt. Big time. And it was somebody from another country who I thought, oh, well, if I'm going to connect with them, then I got to be talking to them, at ungodly business hours or be available or whatever, or they had to do the same for me. And it was just easier for me not to. And this person joined a business I was in and they were huge. I prejudged.
Mm-hmm. And who are we to judge?
Right.
Who are we?
Not my job to judge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nicholas, go ahead. Thanks, Melody.
Thank you so much, both Lisa and Melody, for sharing that. When you were talking, I was thinking, maybe it's as easy as, whether I'm, how to say this, getting frustrated and nervous about sharing my statistics because I'm comparing myself, or whether it's someone hurting us. Maybe the solution is the same for both. I mean, let's just take the first example. I'm feeling bad sharing my statistics. well, I shouldn't be focused on that. My focus is on the wrong thing. I should use other people's statistics in that ascending group as a way for me to, how do I say this, become more inspired, to do more, to be. And I want to point something out, and I don't want people that listening to this think that I'm not genuinely happy for other people's statistics in there. I am. It's just that I've had a hard time sharing mine. But also when it comes to that, you and Lisa were talking about people hurting us, and the same thing there. Use their words as something that will encourage us, that will strengthen us. Every time I ask you something, Melody, it's always about thinking different, and I believe that that is the solution to everything. You use it to think in a way that will help us or get us an advantage. So I just want to share that because that was a pop I get right now.
That's amazing. I love your analogy. Thank you, Nicholas. That was tremendous value right there. And you, you kind of crack me up because I'm like, have you seen my stats lately? Hello. I must make you feel good every day, buddy. But anywho, it is what it is,
It's not about yesterday, it's about today.
Yes.
See, each and every day we get to start over. We get to start fresh. All we need to do is better than we did yesterday.
That's right. That's
right. Every day, Kaizen.
Kaizen.
Getting increasingly gooder and gooder each and every day with all that we do. And the key really is, Nicholas, at the end of the day, can you say, this is what I would do. And what Robert taught me, he said, ask yourself this question. Did I do my very best today? And if I did, regardless of the results, I would celebrate that. Because I was the type of person that would very easily go into beating myself up. Mm-hmm. And that is not going to serve anything. Nothing good.
Right.
So just ask, did you do your very best today? If not, what could I have done better? And tomorrow I make sure I do that better. Or if it's still early in the day, I still have time. It doesn't matter. Oh, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The day's gone. No, I still have what time do you go to sleep typically? Maybe we could cut out that 2 hours of television at the end of the night to work on our future, right? We can always find the time. Just because, it's dinner time, the day's over. No, we can always start the day over at any time. Taking action.
I just want to say, wow, this is gold, because that is, it doesn't have to be harder than that. Just know that you've done, you've done everything that you have learned. You've done your best. I've definitely gone the extra mile today, so I'm proud of myself. So I'm just going to think that every day. I'm going to think that. So simple. Thank you.
Absolutely. Love that, Nicholas. Yeah. This was an excellent call. Debbie, Dustin, I haven't heard from you guys. Nobody wants to talk? Some dead air there. Okay.
So, Lisa, can I add, up until this point in the book, up until chapter 11, if you don't really get the chapters prior and you're not practicing the certain way, you're not practicing gratitude, you're not you don't understand the previous chapters, this chapter is very difficult. Because in those previous chapters, it tells us the actions to take. And if we're not taking those actions up to chapter 11, then when it talks about taking those actions or acting in a certain way, I know I got lost. I got lost. I didn't really understand. I knew what the words meant. I just didn't know how to apply it to my own life. So I don't want anybody to feel bad if they don't get it, right? If you're just not getting it yet, just go back and find, you know, make a list of what these principles are in this book. You can even Google them, you know, the principles of the science of getting rich, and put them somewhere where you can see them. And when you're sitting down or wherever you do your meditation, your bathroom mirror, wherever you spend time, put these principles, write them down, and just become more aware of them throughout your day. And then just start practicing one of them, two of them at a time. You don't need to be practicing all of them always.
And see, this is a process. This is
Absolutely.
and I feel like I am in this process. This is the point where I'm at, you know, that where I'm being aware. I am being, oh my gosh, over aware. I mean, it's almost like it's just popping at me every time. It's like you're doing this wrong and you're doing that wrong, and dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it. And
celebrate what you're doing right, though. See, that's the thing. That's what I used to do. I was so hard on myself that I wasn't recognizing what I was doing right. And how do we know what we're doing right? Success leaves clues.
exactly.
You know, anytime you send me a win, you've done something right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nicholas, you had something?
Yes, the more you continue to talk, the more I have to say. So, yeah, I want to share. You know, Melody was talking about, you know, if you don't fully understand the chapters prior to this chapter, it's important to understand them. And for me, I had to change words. So let's take, for example, vibration and frequency. I changed that to something that connects better in my brain, which is emotionally attached. And I learned this from Robert Hollis. And recently I had, and there are other words as well if someone wants to know. And I recently had a meeting with a Procter Gallagher consultant or something like that. And I just wanted to ask them about this as well. And they confirmed this. So if someone wants to, you know, think about it differently, that's okay. And if someone wants to know these, let me know. You know, it might be easier for you to understand because it was easier for me to understand. So I just want to share that.
That's huge, Nicholas. That is huge. Oh, you guys were muted.
Oh, you were muted, Melody.
Yeah. Oh, that was huge, Nicholas. That was a huge pop right there. Do you guys, should we go through some of the questions if you want to, or do, yeah, Nicholas is like, yeah. Okay, let's do that. I'm going to share
I'm going to go offline. I'll be here, but I'm listening for all your answers.
Okay.
I'm going to drive. All right.
You're amazing.
Love you guys.
Thank you. She is just, I don't know, hard to replace her, isn't it? Okay, I have now frozen. There we go. Oops. Okay, where'd I go? I like frozen. I don't know what happened. I'm going to read the questions, okay? First of all, thinking in a certain way will bring riches to you, but you must not rely upon thought alone, paying no attention to what is the main thing that we need to pay attention to? Anybody?
Action.
Yes, thank you, Nicholas. Very good. So your personal activity must be such that you rightly receive what you want when it reaches you. Okay. You must give every man more value than he gives you in what kind of value? Somebody give me let's do this. Somebody give me an example of giving somebody more in value than what you are receiving. Somebody give me an example of that. You can use the one even that was in the book in chapter 8, I believe.
Yeah, I can give you an example. I hope I get this right now. Well, in the book it says the ink and paper of this book might not be worth much. However, what the book is teaching is invaluable. So I hope I got that correct.
That is perfect. Absolutely perfect. Exactly right, Nicholas. Thanks. You're amazing. Okay. Let's see what else. It is not your part to guide or to supervise the creative process. That is not our job. Our job is to think it into motion, and then that's where the action has to take over from there. So this is the critical point in the Science of Getting Rich right here, where thought and personal action, they must be combined. So we can't have one without the other. It just doesn't work if we don't follow through with that action. And we know the actions, we know it. And, you know, I've been thinking about this so much and trying to figure out a way to force myself into habit, force myself into just even a minute part of what needs to be done in a day. Just do that and then build from there. You know, why do I struggle with that? I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm a work in progress. Anyway, so that is huge. We've got to follow through with the action. By thought, the thing you want is brought to you. By action, you are going to receive it. So we want to put our whole mind in the present place, right? To the best of our ability in every situation, every day. Go that extra mile, you know, be that one that finishes work on time. You don't have to rush through it to be the best, because it's not a competition. It's not. We have to do this in a creative way in order to have all go with us. You know, not pushing that ladder down behind you and just continue climbing all by yourself. So, okay, we are moving up on an hour. So I think I am just going to wrap this up unless somebody else has anything else to say. I think this was a great chapter. This one has helped me become even more aware of my errors. But however, excuse me, slap that big old butt away. However, I am a work in progress. So I will find my way. Thank you guys for being here. Melody, thank you so much for adding so much value. I mean,
Lisa, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I appreciate you guys consistently being here. I mean, it's amazing. And I had a scary moment just for a flash second before we started today. And I thought, oh, it's going to be one of those times nobody's going to show up. And I thought, you know what? Prepare yourself. You just do it and don't give it another thought. So it's like you have free reins for practicing. Nobody's watching. Go for it. Be yourself, right? All right. Thanks, guys. Everybody have a great one. And thanks for being here. See you next week. Chapter 12. I think that was Kaizen or efficient action or something along those lines. Should be good. All right, guys. Bye.